Have you ever wondered what would happen if you were to grab a WZ-111-5A, a pretty well-armored vehicle on the upper plate, decent mobility, and pretty dang good turret armor, and you gave it a double shotgun? Specifically, like the M6 Yo, a double shotgun that has maybe 450 alpha with, a 2-second interclip. Would that sound fair and balanced to you? Because that is quite possibly the next line coming into World of Tanks Blitz. It is confirmed by Wargaming that the VZ-55 will be the next heavy tank line added into the game. Now, for any of you that are unaware of what the VZ-55 is, it is a double shot, as I said, basically WZ-111-5A. In fact, I will break into the statistics of the VZ for you on today's video, so you can kind of know how this tank is, as I've been playing against this thing a lot on World of Tanks PC lately, so you can kind of see how it would compare to coming into Blitz. I'll let my feelings and opinions on how I think this tank's going to come into the game, but at the end of the day, this is just speculation on how it's going to be. I don't know how Wargaming's going to balance this tank. For example, the Yos in World of Tanks PC do not have double shotguns, and the M6 Yo, which is the tier 10 in Blitz, is actually the tier 9 on PC, and the tier 9 is actually the 10. So there definitely are going to be statistical differences between the PC VZ line and the Blitz one. What I don't think is going to be different is the armor profile, which I figured we should break into first. Now, the armor is quite impressive, as we can see. The upper plate is decent. I mean, it's just kind of like a 5A, as I said. Upper plate on flat's about 260, which isn't anything really that impressive. That means heat shells or premium are going to go straight through that upper plate. The turret is very strong, 340 to 380 millimeters thick. It's also got spaced armor on the front, which, as you can see here, is going to make that turret even more thick. But it does have weak spots. A big ol' hatch on the roof at 200 millimeters there. A much smaller, yet still weak spot, 170 millimeter hatch off to the other side. So we can see that the armor on this tank overall is pretty dang strong, especially when you realize that it has 8 degrees of gun depression, which means that this hatch is almost completely hidden by this spaced armor here, and you're only going to be able to really hit this spot right around this edge and maybe the top of the hatch. It's a very hard vehicle to pen hull down. When it is hull down, we can see the effective armor against AP goes to about 360, and that means even if we pull out a vehicle, let's say like the WZ-113 that shoots heat, you're going to see that upper plate, because of the angle it's at, is about 500 plus millimeters thick. The turret basically has no weak spot, especially because of that spaced armor. Even on flat ground, that upper plate is still quite impressive. So overall, the VZ-55 armor is quite a good profile. I wouldn't say it's anything insane, especially for the side armor. If we even just load AP, we can see the sides are quite weak. It does have a bit of a troll spot on the bottom here you want to keep an eye out for, but once you get to the sides of this tank, yeah, it's only about 95 millimeters thick. Side of the turret's quite weak, and the rear of the vehicle is only 90 as well, and 130. What that means is 150 millimeter cannons can pen it, but for example, a vehicle like the 113 is never ever going to have a chance of Hing the rear of the VZ. So the tank is quite well armored. I wouldn't say, as I said, anything impressive, but it's good enough. It's very similar to the 5A we have in Blitz. And if we break into the statistics of the VZ, you realize why it is such a deadly vehicle. So let's go to tier 10, heavy tank, check, and here we go. So the vehicle has 2 guns. It has a single shot and a double shot. Now statistically, these guns have the same penetration, they have the same almost everything. Accuracy is a little different, as we can see. In fact, for the single shotgun, you not only have more DPM at 2,700, but as well, you have better dispersion, aiming time, reload, just about everything's better on the single shotgun. The main reason why this is not the gun that a lot of people prefer is because the other gun is a double shot. Sure, it loses about 150-ish DPM, but it has a 2-second interclip, which is able to deal 980 potential damage. The clip in World of Tanks PC deals 490 in a single shot. Now, to be fair, you do got to realize that PC values are greatly exfoliated compared to Blitz. Like the 5A has over 500 alpha on PC. So it's a lot different than the Blitz values. So in Blitz, if this tank did come with a double shot, I would expect it to have maybe 460 alpha, maybe 440. I would not expect it to have the 490 it has on PC. Honestly, I don't even know if Wargaming is going to give this a double shot, as we already have the M6 Yo, which has a dual shotgun already. I think that it would be cool to see this vehicle at the double shot, but I'm not sure how Wargaming is going to balance this vehicle. But as we can see, the gun has decent dispersion at 0.36 for PC. Its aiming time is also pretty poor. I would not say that's great. On movement, dispersion is okay, not bad or good, but the mobility is really where this tank kicks it into high gear, having a top speed of 50 kilometers per hour, 15 in reverse, and a really, really good effective top speed on hard terrain of 50 as well. Even on medium, you only lose about 1 kilometer per hour, so it's a very mobile tank, and this is, by the way, without even equipping it. So if you were to put food and everything on this tank like normal players on PC would, and you were to run vents, you could get this tank very easily up to a super respectable amount of horsepower. You could get it up to very good mobility and dispersion as well, 0.33. So the gun is quite nice on this tank. And if you were to go to the single shot, you can get this tank also way, way higher, as we can see, up to 2,998 DPM. So quite an impressive vehicle. It's got 2,100 hit points, which is obviously PC values, but it's a little bit lower on the scale. So I would expect in Blitz this to have about 2,438, just like the 5A, just like the 2 and 5B, the Super Conk, a similar aspect to that. But this is the VZ55. There's not much to really showcase. I mean, obviously I could break into years about all the equipment on field mods and loadouts you could run on this vehicle, but I thought I would just give you a basic overview of what this tank is kind of like. Now, because this is going to be a whole line, there's also going to be the Tier 9, which is the TNH VZ51. Now, the TNH is just kind of a Tier 9 version of the Tier 10. Upper plate, similar. I mean, you can see if you load premium, it's still penetrable. If you, again, get a vehicle that shoots heat, because that's a bit better of a comparison. I think the Concept shoots heat. I might be wrong. It does shoot heat. So we can see the upper plate's not nearly as strong as the Tier 10s, but when you are using the 7 degrees of gun depression, the upper plate becomes upwards of 350 thick. Turret cheeks are still very strong, and you'll notice the hatch on the Tier 9's even harder to hit than the Tier 10s. It doesn't really have a second hatch unless you manage to squeeze there. Good luck. So the armor on the Tier 9 is actually just about as good, I would say tier for tier, as the Tier 10, but the gun is a lot worse. The double shotgun on the Tier 9 is quite a bit worse. It's got a single shot once again and a double shot. You can see the single shot has way better DPM, 2300, but the double shot, it's got only 1,800 damage per minute, sitting at a 26-second clip reload. It also has a less damage in the clip at 880, and a longer intra-clip reload at 2.5. So the Tier 9 is still very strong, don't get me wrong. Losing 900 health in 2.5 seconds is kind of nasty, but it's more in line with the Blitz Yo line, where obviously the Yo actually has a 1.73 second intra-clip to deal 900. So I can't actually say that this tank is a whole lot better than the Tier 9 Yo we already have. Yeah, the armor is a little bit better and the mobility is way better at 50, but overall, I cannot say the statistical differences between the guns are that different from the Blitz version and the PC one. And that's also the same for the Tier 10. As I said, the Tier 10 on this game only has about 2,500 DPM, which is just about the same as the double shot Yo we have in Blitz. If I were to go to our double shot Yo in Blitz, you can see that the double shot gun has 2,500 DPM, and its intra-clip is actually faster. So while I do think the VZ's guns are quite strong, I do think that, honestly, for Blitz, Wargaming would be able to balance it quite easily from the aspect we already have. Now, the final vehicle I'll break into is the TNH 105-1000, which is the Tier 8. The Tier 8, once again, has a couple different gun options. This time, the top gun is actually the single shot, and the stock gun is the double shot. We can see the DPM drops again by 500, and, well, the double shot on this tank is decent. It's got 640 potential damage and a 2.5 second intra-clip, which is nice. I mean, it'll be able to still slap you for 640 health. It's able to go 50 once again. Power to weight's decent at 15. Overall, quite a mobile tank. I think that's the main takeaway of this whole line, is the mobility. All of these vehicles are quite mobile. They're going to be able to reach a good top speed, and they also have great hull down armor. Now, the Tier 8 does have a big hatch, which is definitely a weak spot we can see. The hatch is, yeah, always exposed, and it's quite large at that. But at least it's got quite a strong upper plate, as we can see when you're using it hull down. That upper plate's upwards of 260. Once again, even loading premium, that upper plate is very, very strong. Get a vehicle that shoots heat, like let's say the 112 with 250 mils of heat, and yeah, that upper plate's upwards of 300 millimeters. It's really the turret cheeks you're gonna have to worry about. Even the spaced armor, you can cut through it if you have a lot of high heat pen. But yeah, it's only about 226 thick, and that hatch is super weak as well. Side armor wise as well, this tank is not incredible, only about 96 millimeters thick, and the lower plate's weak as well. So overall, I am very excited for the VZs. I think that Wargaming can do a decent job balancing them in Blitz, a better job than I think they're balanced on PC. They are very painful to deal with on World of Tanks PC, just especially for the gun that they carry. Let me know what you guys think about this line in the comments down below, and if you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button. Obviously, I'm just a host, letting you know what I think about these vehicles and how they might come into the game. Wargaming has done a decent job having vehicles balanced in the later patches of Blitz, so I'm hoping that they keep that good track record up. They don't release a Sheridan missile or a T100 LT, but I guess we'll have to see. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.